56 100ths of an inch of rainfall in Fairfield yesterday. Currently, humidity is at 96%. Winds are calm. The pressure at 29.99. Sunshine, 72 right now at the WFIW studios east of Fairfield.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We got the legend here. Dave Land is in the studio. It's good to see you again, dude.
Saw my coffee cup from when I was last here in December sitting right here.
There's a lot of other stuff that you left that's laying around the station, including a little bit of dust.
Looks good in here.
Oh, well, you know, we try to keep the place up. We really do.
We are a little disappointed, though. You didn't bring birthday cake.
Well, it's not the birthday yet.
Okay. See, he's
So
going to come
send
out
it
later this
later
week.
Then, okay.
That's right.
Something
Wednesday.
to look forward to.
Wednesday's the day.
If I'm in town. Wednesday, the 21st is the day.
All right, so the 21st is the day. That would be 66 years when the AM radio station was signed on by your father and his partner, correct?
Absolutely correct.
All right, so that's why you're here today. We want to talk about that. We want to take a little stroll down memory lane with you. How's that sound?
Good, and I'll tell you how it came about.
Go right ahead.
My dad was a Carmi boy. What do they say? Bred and raised or something like that, you know.
Born and raised.
In Carmi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Born in January of 1920, and when he was in college, when he went to college, his dad wanted him to major in agriculture because my grandpa, who died 2 weeks before I was born back in 1950, was a farm manager. Mm-hmm. If you owned a farm, he would kind of look after it, maybe giving you some help on
sounds like a county agent, so to speak.
Could be, but he was a private farm manager, and he wanted Dad to go into agriculture. Well, Dad he loved radio. So he went off to college, graduated with a bachelor's degree in agriculture, was teaching his first year out at Shawneetown, teaching agriculture. And lo and behold, we went to war. Dad was drafted, served overseas in Europe, married my mother, came back, and he said, being in the Army, in war, you really get tough. And I was just going to tell my dad that I didn't want to be a farm manager, but I wanted to get into radio. And in 1948, he and some other people put WROY AM Carmi on the air. Well, there was a fella by the name of, can't think of his first name, his last name was Rebstock, and he was the majority owner of the Carmi radio station. And Dad knew that he would never be a majority owner, and he wanted his own game. Mm-hmm. So they said, well, let's contact the FCC, and Fairfield's not too far from here. Let's see if they have a frequency available, because you have to go through the FCC to make sure it works. They found 1390. And he had met Brian Davidson, who was from over in Indiana. Francisco, Indiana is where Brian was from. And they applied, they got the permit, and in 1953, Mom, Dad, my oldest sister, and myself moved up to Fairfield to a Sheffield apartment. I think everybody's
lived there at one time or
If you
another.
lined up 10 people, somebody in that group has lived at Sheffield. So we lived there, moved here in 1953. The station went on August 21st of 1953, the AM station. And Dad's plan was, well, let's get this one going and sell it and move on somewhere else and start it again. Well, Fairfield was very, very good to him. He had a good staff, a good community, supported the radio station, daily news, and the rest is history. He never retired. He passed away in October of 11, but still had his hand in it, so to speak, although he had a knee injury and walking was very, very tough. But, of course, I was still out here at the time, and he wanted to see the financial reports. And
he still was handling the FCC matters, wasn't he?
He was. And, of course, the FCC, what they require now is just, it's out of control. I always said it kind of took the fun. I got into it for the performance end, listening to the DJs back on KXOK and WLS, I thought, man, that's fun. And it was, and I got paid for it. Well, then comes along sales, managing people.
We just don't
You know,
we just don't do those things
If
nowadays.
it wasn't, what do they say? If it wasn't for your customers and staff, management would be easy.
Fine, yeah.
But it was a good ride for him. Brian Davidson left here in 1956 to put WJBD in Salem on the air. I've got a trivia question later about
Sure.
that. And that was very successful. And Dad and Brian had a 50-50 partnership. And then when I came back after college in the Army in 75, Dad took all of Fairfield and Brian took all of Salem. A very amicable, is that the word?
Yeah.
Transaction. Some people thought, well, who got mad at who? Nobody did.
No, you're
But-
living in Salem. You're
Yeah.
happy. I'm living in Fairfield. I'm happy.
Brian sold that station quite a few years ago. He and his wife have since passed away. Bruce Kropp is still there.
Yes,
he
he
worked
is.
for Brian. Hired
Talk to him on a
Bruce.
regular basis.
What a guy, newsman, and he's managing the station. And Salem's just been under one ownership since Brian sold it. It's to a conglomerate,
Right.
but good operation, very similar to what's done here, local.
You sent me up there one time to manage. You recommended me to Brian Davidson to manage the Salem station. You remember
Okay.
that?
Vaguely.
No, it was-
Vaguely.
I went up for the interview, and essentially he took me around the station. He said, "There's the newsman. He's Bruce Kropp. Don't mess with him. Here's the morning guy. He's very funny. Don't mess with him. Here's the salespeople. They're making lots of money. Don't mess with them." Before long, it was pretty obvious that I wasn't going to mess with anything.
But
and,
but
didn't-
you would have the title.
yeah. So I didn't go, but
But it was a good ride, and I had told my dad back when I was about 50 years old. I said, you know, Dad, one of these days I'm going to want to retire. And you know what he said? He
What?
said, well, son, you can say that now because you can't. I couldn't retire at 50.
Right.
But in my mind, I wanted to retire at about 63 years old, and I did. And Dad knew that the station was going to be put up for sale. My wife's not involved. Our three daughters are not involved. And then certainly after Dad passed away, there was nobody here.
right.
And,
Two sisters not
Right.
interested.
Nope. And two sisters. Thank you. So opportunity came along, and you strike when the iron's hot.
Okay, so here's the question. You don't regret a moment that you got out when you got out.
No regrets whatsoever. None. I would do it exactly the same way. And my timing in things hasn't always been the best. It's like you go on a fishing trip and they say, oh, if you'd been here yesterday, boy, they were biting. Or you're a week early. So, the community was really a stronger local economy than now because Airtex is gone.
Sure.
That helped. It has not crushed our community, in my opinion. It hasn't crushed it, but its leaving has not helped it. Excuse me. So no regrets. I was with you here 6 months last year.
Right.
Thoroughly
I
enjoyed it.
I can't tell you how much I appreciated.
Yeah, it
the
was
6 months that you
it was a good
came
ride.
here and showed me the ropes and helped me avoid some mistakes. I appreciate
Well, it was. Oh, you'll always make mistakes.
that. I have a lot since. So where were you?
Well, I read your commentaries.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I wasn't going to go there, but I am. If you ever do a commentary and nobody complains, then you've messed up. You've messed up. You cannot write a commentary that everybody likes. Somebody's going to take it one way or whatever. You probably get a little more, I don't know if controversial is in your commentaries than I did, but I like yours. I agree with probably 95%. It's like
I'm not sure my wife is that high a percentage.
but like I said, if I like them all, come on, Mike, you gotta,
Yeah.
But
You got to spice it up,
yeah,
man.
that's why it's called opining.
You know, I was looking here, Dave. I went and looked at the 1953. That's the year we're talking about.
Yeah.
Average cost of a new house was under $10,000.
Wow.
Average wages per year, $4,000. Take a guess at cost of a gallon of gasoline.
In 53, 18 cents.
20.
I was going to say 19. So.
Gas war, it would have been.
It would have gone way
You
below
guys
that.
remember gas war?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. I remember those.
I can remember
Right.
26 cents in a gas war.
They wouldn't be announced, but word got around because you'd see cars lined up at the
Right.
stations.
Life expectancy 68 years, so you're in trouble.
I'm on
back-
borrowed time.
back there. That's when they solved the Korean War in '53. Eisenhower was inaugurated.
DDE.
I like Ike. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg executed.
Spies.
Yes. Charlie Chaplin was. He left the country and never returned. Did not get along with our government.
Is Una still alive?
Who?
His daughter?
I
Wasn't
don't
that her name? Una? Oona?
No, I don't
Okay.
know.
Carry on.
I think that was. I'm not sure.
Yankees won the World Series. That's easy to always guess.
Yep. Anytime in the 50s, if somebody asked who won the World Series, Yankees is probably a good guess.
First issue of TV Guide magazine on the newsstands. My for some reason my grandparents saved every one of them.
Those are obsolete anymore. My
Oh,
goodness.
you don't need them. Not
Yeah.
with the.
I don't
Guide.
even know if it's published.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It must have gone by the boards. Lucille Ball gives birth to Desi Arnaz Jr. on the same day as the fictional Little Ricky is born on I Love Lucy. It was a huge show.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was watching.
You know, on the TV Guide, I remember a friend of my dad said, Tom, there's this program on, and it's different all the time, and it's on at weird times, but I don't know if it's a series or what, but it's called Pilot. I expected his next question would be in this TBA. What's that all about? Oh, man.
Playboy had its first issue as well. I'm sure that, that would-
1953.
That's what it says. Oh, I think it was Marilyn Monroe.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, I was
pretty
just
sure.
going to
I
ask
think
you
you're
who was the first.
That's what I heard
centerfold.
somebody say.
Was it Marilyn Monroe? Okay.
Yeah. I had a lady, Pat Rigg, drop this by. It's a flyer she found in her mother's stuff. And it says Revival starts November 23rd, Fairfield General Baptist Church. The Reverend Clyde Brown of Centralia is going to be performing. And down here on the bottom it says General Baptist Hour each Sunday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. over radio station WFIW in Fairfield. So and yeah,
of that church. And I'm not sure if the General Baptist Church at that time was located where it is, just west of Wayne White. Mm-hmm. It's now called the Real Life Church.
Right.
They may have been located somewhere else. That's neat. Thanks, Pat.
You had a cavalcade. By the way, don't let me get past what should be our first break, Mark.
Well, we can go anytime.
All right. Well, let me broach two things. One, let me broach. You had a cavalcade of really memorable, talented people work for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not including myself in that list. I mean, just a real interesting talk about herding cats. That's what you did for the greatest part of your career. So I'd love to talk about some of those people because they have they have a fond residence in my brain. That's one.
Okay.
And then the second thing, the question of the day was, is WFIW a regular part of your day? We had over 2,341 people look at it, almost 300 votes, and we'll tell you about the question of the day, and we'll take your calls if you want to call in as well after we take this time out on Morning Coffee.
Hi, I'm Paul. Isn't it nice when you can keep things simple? Well, now when you switch to Sprint, you can get both an unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. Plus, Sprint's doing things differently, and now offering a new 100% total satisfaction guarantee. I mean, I think Sprint's network and savings are great, but don't just take my word for it. Try it for 30 days, love it, or get your money back. So, why wouldn't you switch to Sprint? An unlimited plan and the Galaxy
Christmas end-of-season sale is in progress. All summer clothing is now 1/2 off of 1/2. The Carnaby girls sell the clothing, you make it fashion. They encourage self-expression, and stepping out of your fashion box can be a good thing. Come see the girls that are #1 at customer service. Carnaby Square is open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5, and open late on Thursdays till 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Hi folks, this is Sandy at Gill Sales. Listen up, Speed Queen has just announced that they are extending their warranties on all Speed Queen washers and dryers to 10 years through September 30. That's an additional 7 years of warranty on some models. Couple that with our $68 off per set offer on our electronic control models for our 68th anniversary and business special through August, and wow, what a deal. If you've been thinking about a new Speed Queen washer and dryer, now's the time to take the plunge. Come see us at Gill Sales and Service, 1605 West Main in Fairfield.
Post frame buildings continue to pop up all over the area, and at Graver Post Buildings, they've been putting up buildings for over 40 years. Garages, pole barns, storage buildings, workshops, apartments, even indoor basketball courts, and some of the most attractive commercial buildings in the state. Every job is specific and unique to your wants and your needs. Graver Post also has packages for contractors and do-it-yourselfers. So for your next building or roofing project, call for a free quote at Graver Post, 800-264-5013.
Hi, this is Bill Stevens with another time capsule quiz. Which month and year was it when Apollo 14 blasted off for the moon? George McGovern became a presidential candidate. Charles Manson and 3 of his Mansonettes were convicted of first-degree murder. In Super Bowl V, the Baltimore Colts won in a photo finish.
9 seconds showing on the clock. The Cowboys and the Colts all tied up. It is a 32-yard field goal attempt. The kick is up, it is long enough, it is...
We saw the premiere of All in the Family and the last of cigarette commercials. Hot Pants were new, and so were all these songs.
If you could read my mind. Watching Scotty grow. Mr. Bojangles. I was born to wonder. Not the one you with.
Got it yet? Well, the answer and a hunk of the top song from the month and year are coming up.
It's almost time for the Fairfield National Bank Fall Fun Fest 5K. Whether you're in it for the competition or the fun, the 5K is a great way to show your community spirit. Registration forms are available in our lobby or on our Facebook page. Race day registrations will also be accepted at the start line from 4:30 until race time at 6 p.m. on Thursday, September 12th. FNB, Banking Business Life. Member FDIC.
January 1971. Oh, my darling, knock 3 times.
Tony Orlando and Don with Knock 3 Times, the top song of January 1971. This is Bill Stevens for tcapsule.com. Back soon with another time capsule.
Grandpa!
Hey, kiddo. I hear you're turning 7. What would you like for your birthday?
I want a bouncy castle, a popcorn machine, cotton candy, the Easter bunny, chicken fingers, oh, and a baby brother.
The Easter bunny, huh? No problem.
Really?
Parties, celebrations, and event of all sizes, they have you covered. Tables, chairs, tents, and bounce houses. See how easy it is to bring your event to life. Hunter Landscape and Rentals, 302-1438.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee, celebrating the anniversary of WFIW with Dave Land. And our question of the day.
Yeah, is WFIW a regular part of your day? We had almost 300 votes, actually 289, 158 yes, 131 no, and some interesting comments. I find it interesting that 131 people on a Sunday afternoon and before 7 o'clock on a Monday have no association with WFIW, but they were on our social media to be able to vote no.
Well, you know.
It's kind of a loaded question, you know what I mean?
Well,
it's never part of my day.
Me neither. So, anyway.
And, well, you didn't say radio.
No, I didn't.
And now
it's
when
the
you
whole
say
operation.
WFIW, it's radio, website,
social
Twitter,
media,
Facebook. So, yeah.
Yeah. Got calls before we
Yeah,
get
I
into
do.
stuff? Go ahead.
Good morning. You're on Morning Coffee.
Good morning. This is Pat. I forgot to tell you the church used to be on West Water Street, there where the Airtex parking lot is. That's where the church was when we had the radio program.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you, Pat.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
much. Yeah, well, that clarifies it.
Yeah. It looks like a newer building there. It's now Real Life Church.
So you had this interesting collection of people. I followed Daryl Linney here. Daryl he had an incredible, insatiable ability to be able to get news. My mother-in-law was the head nurse at Fairfield Memorial Hospital. If there was an accident, she said she'd have to watch out for Daryl not walking into the operating room. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
And he was a reporter.
Yes.
He reported what he saw or what he heard. He never editorialized that I ever heard.
That's good.
That's the way it used to be. That method is out the window now. Personalities that come to mind in no particular order. Most recent, Woody and Mervis.
Sure, they were great.
Absolutely. Red Thunder, the helicopter. Jimmy Joe up in the helicopter with Mike Day, the late police chief. Of course, Gil Wallace. I've got a trivia question about your early morning buddy, old Gil Wallace. Of course, Brian Davidson, who was the first morning man here when the station went on, he was your early morning fuddy-duddy buddy. And he, did something like this, a little humor and playing some records. George Hamill had a country show. Lonesome George, they may have called him that, but that was also George Goebel. George has passed away, and he has a son, Steve, that somewhere in the area, perhaps.
I always said that out of the 10 most favorite radio moments that I've heard, Woody and Mervis had 8 of them.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, there was some just classic humor. I've told this story before. I'm dating my wife, I leave at about 10 o'clock. She's living in Sheffield, okay? And she wakes up at 6 o'clock with the alarm, and the alarm comes on, and Mervis leads his story. Lynn Wells' lead story was Mike Dreeth has left Frontier Community College. He's joined a traveling circus to sell elephant ears. And she wakes up and goes, well, why didn't he mention that last night?
Well,
it was April 1st.
Well, and one of the first big April Fool's jokes I came up with, it was stolen from somewhere else, but we did it here, and that's when the beer truck overturned in front of Southern Wholesale.
Oh, I've heard it. I've heard it done on other radio stations.
And that was, people were calling. Gibber Musgrave had his Jim's Custom Auto boat down there, and I know that 1 or 2 people called him that were working at an unnamed Airtex office. Jim, I can't get down there.
Just go
get me a case and then get what you want.
Get a truck.
And then we did another one where we were going to, the telephone company was going to clean out the lines. They were going to blow them out. So your receiver at home, you'll want to cover it up so that there's not dust in your house. And we had a lady call out here and say, how long do I have to keep that stupid cover on my phone? So, innocent fun.
Yeah.
I know I'm forgetting some others, but
Dave Rigg was here for a while,
yeah.
and still, helps us out here now, but does play-by-play. What about, you have Stan David. Did you mention Stan?
Not yet.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, Stan came here in about the summer of 71. He and his dad, Walt, came down here and applied and got the job. Stan was involved in sports on the air. I think he started off doing the color, not the play-by-play, and stayed here till he passed away. I think it was like in November of 2009, I believe. We had not a revolving door, but there is sales turnover at radio stations.
Sure.
Bill Arthur was here, and by the way,
how's he doing?
Bill, if you're listening, wish you well. I believe he's home and coming along.
Good.
Yep.
One of the best voices.
Oh, yes.
Great voice.
And gosh, we had several sales. Carolyn Ridenauer was the one that put this. I'll hold this up to the
camera there.
This was from 24-page. What do you call it? Tabloid. Of the 40th anniversary of the radio station. Dealt with Preston Matthews down at the Wayne County Press to print this. Did an outstanding job. And some young-looking people in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun to do.
We've been getting texts. One person, I will only say his name's Bruce because I don't want to embarrass his wife. He says his wife bit on the phone a bit.
That's not the one I was talking. So there were two.
Oh, there's another one. So this is another one. Okay.
This one,
okay.
And then I know of another one.
All right. And Gordy Toombs, I'll say his name, asked Dave Land if he knows all the names and artists of all the songs in the 60s.
I know more than I don't know.
Well, I was talking to somebody that was on a cruise with you. We'd go and do trivia on our cruise, and they did music trivia.
That was right after the Microsoft 10 classes.
I did go to the Microsoft 10 classes, and I've really benefited from them, by the way. And no, Brad Jessup says I can't write off the cruise. But the truth of the matter is, we're sitting there, my wife and I, and it's the 60s, and they're playing snippets, 15 seconds without the name of the title. And she looks at me and she says, "Oh, Dave will kill this."
We won.
That's what I was talking to one of your friends who said that you guys won. And they brought in some of the questions from it.
Okay.
And we used it on there.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Well, it was.
Anyway, Stan, what I remember is Stan. And he was, and I'm looking right now at Mark Turner, who's done years and years and years of play-by-play. And I'm going to take you off the screen. I'm sorry. I got you focused in so that we can see your nostrils, Dave. There are legendary play-by-play names in Southern Illinois. I think of over on my side of the river, there's a guy by the name of Joe May who did that for years and years, WIBV in Belleville. Stan was synonymous with Fairfield Mules, but nobody could. He was a beloved homer. What I mean by that in the best possible way is he
supported the Mules, good or bad.
Absolutely. Even if they were getting beat by 30, there were positives that he found in the game. And he would scream on a three-pointer, "Booyah." I remember that.
But, yes, Stan was a homer, which makes me think that I could tune in the game.
Yes.
Maybe third quarter. By the tone of his voice,
you could tell.
I knew who was winning. Because I was one of the many casual listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the kids were in school, of course, we went to the games, but then I knew the players, so you listened to them.
Right.
Later, today, I'm a casual listener. But I could tell.
You can tell by his voice.
Could tell how bad they were getting beat.
I tell the story to people because I don't know. I'm sure you both know this. Obviously, you know it, Dave. But I've never heard of an announcer get kicked out of a game before the games. I mean, gets kicked out of a gymnasium before a game even starts. That's incredible. I mean, he was sitting up. Wow, the way I remember the story.
It was at McLeansboro.
It was at McLeansboro.
Were you there when they threw Stan David out?
He's sitting next to the exit way or the entryway for the officials to come into the game,
right?
To start the game. And when they come by, Stan makes some kind of comment about a past game that he didn't feel like they had done a
adequate job.
They kick him out of the gym.
I think it was cold in
How
the
did you
car.
do that?
I think he said it was cold in that parking lot.
You had to have the color commentator had to do the play-by-play then, I guess.
And that
wow.
Yeah.
I have not heard that story.
No, that's true.
Very true.
Isn't that?
I can believe it.
Oh,
though.
yes.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Then the other one I remember so well was I would be in the newsroom, and this place was configured differently, but I was here in 1982 and part of 1983, and Gil would do the morning march. He'd play it at about 6:37 or 6:38, something like that, and it would play. and he would come over and he'd say, "It's a beautiful morning in Fairfield.
Beautiful day in Fairfield."
Old Gil Wallace with you here in the Breakfast Nook. Now, that changed.
It was Coffee Club, but when coffee took a huge price increase, he said, "We're not having no more of that. It's the Breakfast Nook."
And then he would get into his show. It'd be right after the 6:30 news. Gil, just probably one of the more personable air personalities. He became the morning mayor.
No stress attacks.
No.
But he and Stan followed him. You had Brian Davidson, you had Gil Wallace, and then you had Stan David, and then on the AM doing the morning show.
And Kirk over on the FM after you put that on. Now talk about that. When did you put the FM on?
That may have been a trivia question.
Oh, I don't want to blow that. Is it?
It is.
All right. Well, then I won't blow that. But you put the FM on sometime, which
when
was,
we did that.
Yes.
When
You
we
split.
did that.
Oh, was it simulcast?
WFIW AM and FM had been simulcast, which means which either of those two stations you were listening to, you had the same programming.
Right.
Well, we split them. And there were some people that from that day forward thought that Gil Wallace was no longer here if they were listening on FM. If they were listening to 104.9, right. Gil was on AM only.
You had a rough time trying to get
we
the conversion.
did. And but one of the reasons we split, man, what a great reason. We had too many commercials we couldn't get in, and that's when the FCC limited you to 18 minutes an hour.
That's a problem we have every day here, isn't it, Mark?
It is.
But
we have 4 stations to put them on.
And I wish we had more of that problem.
Well, it was we couldn't get the commercials in. We knew there was a younger audience out there, but we didn't want to mess with the AM that had done so well. So, Carmi split, WRUL came on.
50,000 watts.
Of course, Salem had split their operations. Mount Carmel had. So it was time to do it. Dad was a little leery of it, but it worked very, very well.
Well, then you went and did it again.
In 96.
That's not a trivia question then.
Yeah, it's not now. OKZ went on the air, and with automation, we hired no additional people.
Okay,
but we desperately needed that because we were doing all of the Mules games on 104.9, and we did all Edwards County football and selected basketball for Edwards County, Wayne City, and Sisney. Well, we couldn't put them on low-power AM at night, so we'd have to put the Mules on AM, and boy, did we catch grief over that. So OKZ came along, and we were able to keep the Mules on 104.9 and the other out-of-town teams on 105.9, and they could hear it. So that worked very, very well.
He slyly grabbed the call letters from my family's radio operation.
Yeah. And
WOKZ.
I lost my thought there, but it just worked well.
That's perfect, because then you were able to get the country listener.
Yes.
That you had not been able to get.
And at the time, we did research, believe it or not, private little company that specialized in asking questions for small market radio owners that needed some decision making. And country came up, but you had Carmi, MIX FM, country. Of course, you had the powerhouse, WKDQ.
You had an AM down in McLeansboro that was playing country
WMCL, they were doing it. Princeton had a country station. So, but it went, and then we put on the real country, which has been very, very good.
I told somebody, they met me, they knew who I was in the first week, and they said, just promise me this, you won't mess with WOKZ.
And we got the Cardinals in 06.
Right.
The first year at Busch Stadium 3, and
they won it.
They won it.
Yeah.
And
pretty good
that
timing.
we were so happy to get the Cardinals, but because of exclusivity with other area stations, I did get permission from one of their stations to do it. And I believe the original company now has the most Cardinal affiliates for a group.
Yep, I believe there's 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was thinking 8 or 9, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And that's worked very, very
All right,
well.
so now that you're retired,
Mm-hmm.
we don't drag you out of bed at 5:30 to come here in the morning. We just sit around and watch TV. I mean,
I'm as busy as I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to say no.
Sure.
When you're in business, it's tough. But let's see. Volunteer at the hospital, on the Military Honor Guard when we bury a veteran. Library board, church, getting more active there with our new pastor. Folks, you got to come and hear Pastor Nathan Jeffries at First United Methodist Church. Man, great. And then Wayne County Historical Society. I went to. I'm a member there, and they had a meeting last Thursday night. Big crowd. Judith Puckett was the speaker. You know what the topic was? You guys wouldn't be into it so much. Neighborhood grocery stores. She had a list of 42.
Holy
42.
moly.
This is mainly back in the 50s, 60s. But you can join, and if you like to hear discussions about, well, I remember Fairfield back, you'll want to come to the Wayne County Historical Society.
My wife was at that meeting, said it was really interesting.
Oh, yes, I just had somebody remind me. I'm also volunteering at the clothesline. By the way, the clothesline needs volunteers. You can work as little as 2 hours every other week or something, and they need clothesline volunteers.
Very nice message just sent to me from Floyd Connard.
Oh, yeah.
Really enjoying listening to Dave, reminiscing and giving the history of the radio station for all of us that have listened for so many years. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful ride to hear the history. Thank you for having Dave, wishing him and the radio station many more years. Such a great community service. Also, Jeff Vaughn is a wonderful radio voice, easy to listen to as a news person. And, he has been the piece that helped put this thing together for me, quite honestly. Mark's a veteran and solid here in the morning. Putting him together with Jeff, not only in the morning but also in sports, has been, I think, the key to the radio station.
Thank you, Floy, for that for your comments. And Floy is now on the Military Honor Guard. You know, Mark Turner, you and I talked back in the 90s, didn't we?
Yeah. Early 90s.
Before Len came here, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we were needing a news director, and
the timing just
the
wasn't
timing
right
wasn't
at
right.
the time.
Yep.
So,
but it came together.
But it did eventually.
So,
so you keep yourself very busy, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Now, do I have anything else planned for the rest of the day? No, I do not.
Well, you might want to get out there and get that birthday cake for later in the week for us.
This is exhausting me this morning, so I may take a nap. But you know, you've got things here. You've got a good, solid staff.
Yes.
There's always turnover. If you had 2 people working for you, one of those positions would always be turning over. If you have 8 or 10, you're always going to have something going on. This radio station over the years, and even now, and I'm totally out of it, has been blessed with good, dedicated people. I've always found that. My dad always said, son, we are so lucky to have a solid, good staff. What do they say? Showing up for work is half of the...
Right.
But they're good. We could count on them. Oh, sure, you always have problems. Always have problems.
8 employees all living within the, the tower could fall and land on them. They all live right here. They all, do their job, and they give back to the community. They're all giving back to community service organizations, so that's good.
You know, people may wonder, well, boy, you're out there outside of town. How come you haven't moved into town? Well, our tower is here because that's where the government said, this is where your tower will go. Well, at that time, most of the rural radio stations were at their tower site. If you drive into Carmi, you go down to the Enfield Junction and then make a left, you'll see Carmi's real tall tower, and at the bottom is a building similar to this. That's where they used to be. They're downtown at the bank, in the old bank building. Well, in 1980, when Wayne County Bank put up their new building, and it later became People's National Bank, we thought about moving upstairs around the mezzanine level or up onto the third floor.
Now you could have had the whole building.
But it didn't. It really didn't make sense, because then, I don't know if you still had to use a telephone line to get your programming in, but it would have been cool sitting up there. But this is handy. If you've got a problem, it's here. So
that's the goal. I mean, I'm going to win the lottery. I'm buying that, and that's going to become Dreith Enterprises. That building.
That's what we've been told.
Yeah, like a year ago.
That hadn't happened yet.
Well, I haven't won the lottery yet. I keep.
It's true.
I keep playing each weekend so that I can help our schools.
Now, let me. Let me bring some thoughts up to the future on radio.
Okay.
It ain't what it used to be.
And it never will be.
No. It used to be, as I told you earlier, you're not going to reach selling 18 minutes an hour. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen other places, because a lot of smart, progressive business people have to have social media. They have to. They've got to have the Facebook, the Twitter. That's what the younger folks are looking at. There was a wonderful question the other day on, what was it about? Will the brick and mortar stores still be around?
I saw that.
Okay. I think Misty may have posted that.
That's right.
I commented and got 5 or 6 likes that I said, the survival of the small mom and pop stores will depend on smothering your customers with service.
Right.
Recognizing them and acknowledging them when they come in the store. Thanking them for being there.
Amazon can't do that.
No, they can't. No, they can't.
I just would say that what's changed for me coming back after 32 years in education was we would always break our neck to get a news story on the air first. Here, it's just as important. We get 400,000 impressions, meaning 400,000 clicks onto our website every month. And that's for news and obits and mugshots and all the other things that are on there. And we have over 10,600 Facebook likes. That's just as important as the air signal is in this overall operation.
And I've been out of here since March of 13, so 6.5 years. What you just talked about, I didn't deal with.
Right. Well, we put the
website on and started off slow, and I love it. When we're going to be gone for a few days or whatever, even overseas, I can.
And we podcast everything.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can get the news, you can get this show.
It's just so different.
Sure.
And you've got to change with the times. I have some friends that thought texting was useless. Well, they're texting all the time now.
Yes, they are. All right, so we got to take a break, and we're going to have you got to give us the questions first, Dave. It's different than it used to be. This way, we give the listeners an opportunity to think about the answers.
Yeah. Well, I did that. We did that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't remember that.
So we're going to take a break and then I've got 20.
It's all a blur to me. I thought Dave was here. He's not here every day?
Nope.
Okay.
So we're going to take a break and then do trivia. Is that it?
Yeah, but you give the questions before we go to
give
break.
us 10 of the questions first.
10 of the 20?
Yep.
Okay.
Read us 10 questions.
Who were the original hosts of RFD Illinois?
Okay.
All
right. What does WFIW stand for? Actually, the FIW, because you have to have the F or the W, the C, or a K. When Brian Davidson left Fairfield to start the Salem radio station, who replaced him as chief engineer?
Mm-hmm.
What was Red Nickerson's real name?
Oh, gee.
Here's the fifth one. In the 1960s, what two men announced the Mules ball games? It was a team. Who was the radio station's first full-time news director? Who replaced that person in April 1982? Who was our Edwards County correspondent for many years? Number 9. I think I gave this earlier, but who was the country music announcer on weekday afternoons?
Okay. All right, and you got
And
more in case we need it. Oh, go ahead.
Number 10. In what year did WFIW AM begin airing the Rush Limbaugh Show?
Ooh.
All right.
Okay. All right.
That's coming up.
We're going to do that after we come back with Dave Land on Morning Coffee.
Tired of high-priced service calls? At Finley's Refrigeration, I take pride in answering all calls and giving prompt, courteous 24-hour emergency service. We service all brands and will install high-quality new equipment to keep your home or business comfortable all year round. We accept all major credit cards, checks, and cash. Save yourself a lot of money and a lot of heartache today by calling or texting Finley's Refrigeration for all your cooling and heating needs at 618-599-9888. That's 618-599-9888.
You decide because you know where you belong. Wabash Christian Village in Carmi for short-term inpatient rehab. You decide because you know where you belong. You decide. Wabash Christian Village in Carmi, Grace Point Rehab, 382-4644.
Take a break from cooking this week and let Gotzi's Restaurant in Carmi cook for you. You can buy a $10 gift certificate for only $7 at the Big Deal Store on WFIWradio.com.
And now, the top 5 reasons to drive for Bestway Express. Number 5, free health clinic. Number 4, paid holidays. Number 3, $1,800 annual safety bonus. Number 2, no hazmat, no jack stand moves at higher mounted airlines for easier access. And the number 1 reason, you will be home daily. Bestway Express is now hiring for multiple home daily positions. Contact Bestway at 1-833-BESTWAY or bestwayexpress.com.
There's something big coming to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. So big, we had to call it Kids World. What's Kids World? It's all the rides and slides you already love, plus magic shows, jugglers, balloon artists, fun zones, a scavenger hunt, and more. Even a beach party with Safari Sam. But it's only here the weekends of August 17th through September 14th, so get your tickets at holidayworld.com today. And then get your whole family to Kids World at Holiday World and Splash and Safari.
Where kids rule the world!
WFIW 104.9 at WFIWradio.com. Sheldon Bunning from Le Mans Chevrolet Chrysler on the line. Good morning, Sheldon.
Good morning, Mark.
You had a pretty busy weekend.
I did. I got one married off.
And everything went well, I'm guessing.
Do what?
Everything went well.
It did.
All right. You guys have been awfully busy at the dealership the past week or so as well.
We have been moving some vehicles, and always glad when it's busy.
Now, what's on the lot that would make somebody a great... We don't talk about used vehicles very much, but what's on the lot that would make someone a great, say, a starter vehicle or something that somebody could just drive back and forth to work if they happen to work out of town? What's on the lot that would be great for that?
Well, we've got all sorts of stuff down here. I was trying to look at some of our fresher trades we've got. We just traded for a 2014 Volkswagen Beetle. So you need something good and economic on fuel, good transportation. I think we had this car priced somewhere around the 10.9 range. Good mileage on it. That would make somebody a good work car. Let's see. We've got several vehicles under $20,000 that are brand new. You know, we've talked about this. I've got some of my retired service loaners out here. I know I've got a Compass that's just under $19,000. I've got another Renegade. I think I've got priced somewhere around $18,700. These are both 18 models.
And these are Jeeps we're talking about. Brand new Jeeps under $20,000.
That is correct. Let's see what else we've got in more of a work car variety. We've got several things here on the lot. I mean, we're always needing more, but, hey, we'll give you top dollar for your trade-in as well.
And, of course, if someone is looking for a specific model, you can pretty well find it.
Yes, we can. We can get on the locator, and we can always come up with a new one if there's one out there. And sometimes the use is a little tougher, but if you're patient, we'll find you the perfect car to fit your budget and what you want.
All right. Of course, all the inventory online at LeMansOnline.com. Sheldon, as always, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you Thursday.
All right, you guys have a great week.
All right. Sheldon Bunning from Le Mans Chevrolet Chrysler joins us every Monday and Thursday on the WFIW Morning Show. Let's check that radar weather brought to you this morning by the Conard Financial Group.
Before going on vacation, you need to know what to pack. Preparing for your financial future is similar. Without proper planning, you could very well be left out in the cold. I can offer you a variety of investment strategies designed for your specific needs. Call me, Chris Conard, at 842-7855, located at 510 West Delaware in Fairfield. Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA, SIPC. Life well planned. Give us a like on Facebook.
Fairfield area weather forecast calling for sunshine today with a high of 90. Partly cloudy tonight, low 72. For tomorrow, 30% chance of rain, high 88. Scattered showers 90 on Wednesday. For Thursday, scattered showers, high of 80. And for Friday, partly cloudy with a high of 80. Overnight low 68. Yesterday's high was 90. 56 100ths of an inch of rainfall yesterday. Currently, humidity at 91%. Winds are calm. Pressure at 29.99. Right now, sunshine 77 at the WFIW studios east of Fairfield. Don't forget, it's going to be very hot and humid through Wednesday, so allow yourself plenty of rest breaks, lots of water if you're working outside, and please make sure those pets have plenty of water and have some shade if they're outside. Radar looking good this morning as well. Nothing showing up anywhere in the state of Illinois in terms of precipitation this morning. That's Radar Weather brought to you this morning by the Conard Financial Group.
Back with the legend Dave Land here for the anniversary, the 66th anniversary of WFIW, and he's given us some trivia questions. And,
some legendary.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Go.
Bing, bing, bing. Who were the original hosts of RFD Illinois?
I know one of them was Al Durand.
Yeah.
Alan Durand and Lou Hansen.
Lou Hansen, okay. Yeah.
What does WFIW stand for?
I know this, but I'm not going to say it. Do you have an idea?
I have no clue.
The FIW is Fairfield, Illinois, Wayne.
Now, wasn't it taken
It was from Hopkinsville, Kentucky radio station, and it stood for whitest flower in the world. And then they let those letters go, and Dad got them. When Brian Davidson left Fairfield to start the Salem radio station, who replaced him as chief engineer?
Gil Wallace.
Yep, and he came here from WVMC in Mount Carmel. What was Red Neckerson's real name?
I don't know this.
Gary Corey, and he was from Reinard.
And he was great.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard him?
I have not.
Oh, it was great. He did a morning kind of commentary, tongue-in-cheek. It was just wonderful.
In the 1960s, what two men announced the Mules ball games?
I'm going to take a guess that one of them was Garnet Williams.
Correct.
I don't know who the
color
other one
man was Bill Arthur.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They wore red blazers.
Well, now, for a while, the announce booth at the train yard was the Garnet Williams broadcast booth.
Who was the radio station's first full-time news director?
Darrell Lenny.
2 R's and 2 L's. That's how he billed himself when he played organ echoes, the organ music after the 3 o'clock news.
Yeah.
2 R's and 2 L's, sit between the tables spinning the labels. Isn't that precious?
Wow.
Who replaced him in April of '82?
That'd been you?
Mike Dreeth. Yes.
Mike Dreeth.
23-year-old
And you
Mike
used to
Dreeth.
say right now in Fairfield, it's 82.
You remember that?
Who was
that bothered you, didn't it?
Who was? I have sleepless nights. Who was and is our Edwards County correspondent?
Oh, boy. Mark Curtis.
Yeah.
And he does a great job. He called us this morning to give us.
Who was the country music announcer on weekday afternoons?
He gave it to us.
Yeah, George Hamill.
Oh, George Hamill.
Okay. Yeah. In what year did WFIW AM begin airing the Rush Limbaugh Show?
I'm going to say 86. That's when it started, isn't it?
It started in 88 or 89.
I'm going to say 93.
91.
91.
91. Boy, did we get... I had a a mother of a friend of mine, she saw me and said, David, that's not good. David?
Yes.
Yes. I can't believe what you have done to our radio station.
I've heard that before.
Yep.
And, I was a nervous wreck when we put him on, but whatever.
Only
okay.
599 other stations have made the same decision over the course of time.
Who replaced Gladys Onstad as bookkeeper in the mid-'70s? Lois
Strange.
Lois
Yeah.
Strange.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And
What
she was there forever.
old-time 15-minute radio show aired weekdays on the AM station?
The Baptist style.
Old-time radio show.
Old-time radio.
Yeah, syndicated.
Yeah, it's...
It was at 105 Lum and Abner.
Yes.
In the early
Jot 'em down
in the
score.
early 90s, a local minister aired a daily feature called Faith Break. Who was the minister?
No
he
idea.
He was in Fairfield 90 to 95. David Myers.
David Myers, okay.
Okay. What is WFIW's longest-running program with the same sponsor?
Ooh.
That's
Still
a
on
tough
the
one.
air.
Man, that's a great trivia question. I have no idea.
WFIW AM or AM? FM or AM?
AM.
AM. Okay.
Started on AM the week we went on the air. Still on.
Time capsule.
First Baptist Church Sunday worship service.
Okay.
Okay.
What does WJBD in Salem stand for?
It's John Bryan Davidson.
William Jennings Bryan Davidson. William Jennings Bryan was a presidential.
From Salem.
Yep. And then Davidson.
Yes. Yes.
When did Tom Land begin editorializing on a regular basis?
Probably, let's say 56, 57.
March 11th of 1963.
He went for 10 years before he editorialized? Really?
Didn't have time
Man.
dealing with. Who is the Wayne County business owner who was born on August 21st, 1953? Tom Blasdell, owner of Shoe Creek Pharmacy.
Son of a gun.
Yep.
All right.
Three more.
No,
Three more.
well,
Go ahead.
it's that time.
Well, go ahead. Give us the
ahead.
three fast. We can go over.
WFIW's first satellite dish installed in 82, AM and FM split programming in February of 83, and Gil Wallace retired in April of 91.
Dave Land, the legend.
Thank you.
With us this morning. Thank you so much for Dave. And thank you for everything you've done to help me out. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. We'll be here tomorrow. We've got some undescript guest.
TBA.
News, talk, sports, and classic rock. This is the station listened to, not just heard. 104.9 WFIW Fair.